2022. My name is Cindy Tucker, and I'm the chair of the commission. Mr. Brett Ragsdale serves as the executive secretary of the commission. Mr. Ragsdale, may I get a roll call?
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Warren?
Present.
Ms. Strong?
Present.
Ms. Love?
Here.
Mr. Gill?
Here.
Chair Tucker?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. The Memphis Landmarks Commission and the local historic district provisions are established to ensure preservation of structures that are of historic value to Memphis. Our function is to preserve significant resources, enhance community pride, and foster civic beauty and ensure compatibility within designated historic districts. The Commission is authorized to review projects and determine their appropriateness based on the design review guidelines. At this time, I would like to swear in the staff. You can remain seated. Everybody, okay. Do you swear to tell the truth, the total truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, thank you. May I get a motion to approve the minutes from last month's meeting?
I'll make a motion.
Okay. Any opposed?
Second. I second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Secretary, please provide us a secretary's report, if there is one this month, and then explain the procedure for the meeting.
I don't have a secretary's report, but I will just say Merry Christmas to all, and I hope we get out of here and get home before the weather gets too bad. So we'll do what we can.
Will.
Merry Christmas to you.
Thank you. The procedure for this meeting will be as follows. I will introduce each case as listed on the agenda. Copies of the agenda are found on the right podium. For each case, staff with the Division of Planning and Development will give a presentation. At the conclusion of the presentation, the applicant will have 5 minutes to present his or her case. After the applicant's presentation, the commission will hear first from those speakers in support of the application, then from those speakers in opposition to the application, and the speakers will have 3 minutes each. And then finally, the applicant will have 3 minutes to provide rebuttal. These times do not include time for questions from and answers to members of the commission. The chair may provide additional time, provided both sides are given an equal amount of additional time. All parties who wish to provide testimony to the commission will be sworn in by the chair. If a member of the audience wishes to provide testimony in support of or in opposition to a particular case on today's agenda, he or she will need to fill out a speaker's card for the record. Speaker's cards are available at the front podium. Once filled out, speaker's cards can be submitted to any DPD planner at the left podium. We do not accept speaker's cards from the applicants since their names are already part of the record. After all parties have been heard, the commission will close the public hearing, make a motion, and then deliberate on the case. All motions by the commission will be made in the affirmative. The bylaws governing the commission require the affirmative vote of a majority of the attending members to approve an application. The commission may also vote to hold an application for a period of 1 month. Madam Chair, I submit that all cases have been filed in proper order, all applicants have been notified of this hearing, and all notice requirements have been fulfilled.
Okay, thank you. At this point, the commission will establish a consent agenda. To establish the consent agenda, the secretary will call out each eligible case. If any member of the audience or the commission objects to a case being placed on the consent agenda, he or she should do so by show of hands, and then the secretary reads the case. Once the consent agenda is established, the commission will vote on all cases placed on the consent agenda as a whole and will not hold individual public hearings on each case. Mr. Secretary, which items on our agenda are eligible?
Thank you, Madam Chair. And before I do that, I do want to note that items number 3 and number 4 are being held. So the items on the consent agenda are item number 5, COA 2022-166, 1786 Glenwood Place in the Central Gardens Historic District. Item number 6, COA 2022-168, 639 Jefferson Avenue in the Victorian Village Historic District. Item number 7, COA 2022-169, 643 Jefferson Avenue in the Victorian Village Historic District.
Okay, thank you. Is that it?
Sorry, I still have more. And
okay.
Ms. Tizell just mentioned we do have one more that we were discussing, but item number 2, I'll start. So item number 2 is also on consent. We were just negotiating some stuff with the applicant, so we have that as a consent eligible item. COA 2022-138, 1101 Kyle Street in the Glenview Historic District.
Okay.
And item number 8 in our 2022-005 near 5400 Summer Avenue, L. Persons lynching site. And item number 9, National Register 2022-006, 492 Vance Avenue, the Griggs Business and Practical Arts College. So the 2 National Registers will be on consent as approval, but we may hear a presentation. No, we're going to hear a presentation on number 9. And so,
Okay. All right, thank you. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda established by the secretary?
I so move.
Could I have a second?
Second.
I would like to remind the commissioners that by voting on the consent agenda, he or she affirms that he or she read the staff report and is in full agreement with the conditions. Mr. Secretary, may I get a roll call?
Mr. Warren,
Yes.
Ms. Strong,
Yes.
Mr. Gill,
Yes.
Ms. Love,
Yes.
Chair Tucker.
Yes, thank you. If you're here, anybody's here for those cases that were just listed for the consent agenda, you have been approved. You don't have to remain at the meeting, but are welcome to stay for the remainder of the cases. Thank you, Mr. Secretary. At this point, I would like to state that the minor COA applications as listed on the agenda have been received, reviewed, and approved by the commission. The commission will now continue with the regular hearing of the major COA applications as listed on the agenda. Mr. Secretary, please call the first case for the regular agenda.
Madam Chair, I will call the case, but I do not believe the applicant is here, but it's item number 1, COA 2022-136, 1441 Lindale Avenue in the Valentine Evergreen Historic District. I do not see the applicant in the audience.
Okay.
So we can hold on that to do any with it. We can go ahead and move on to the next item.
Okay.
And if he shows up, then we can hear it then. If
That's
not,
fine.
we'll hold it for next month.
Okay.
All right. Well, the next item then is item number 8, and I didn't know, Ms. Lampkin, I'm sorry. Did you want to make any comments on item number 8? Okay, great. This is one of the National Register nominations.
I think it's worth hearing.
Yes.
Yes.
Pretty significant.
Sure, exactly, yeah. Well, do you want to hear do you have a presentation?
Well, I was just going to say it's a National Register nomination, and we have the applicant here. If you have any questions, Kelsey will be able to answer them.
Did anybody want to see anything related to that?
Sure, if it's, yeah, that would be great.
So we can go ahead with the applicant.
Okay. Oh, yeah, state your name and address.
Kelsey Lampkin. I live at 2242 Valentine Avenue here in Memphis, Tennessee.
Okay, can you raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
And I'll keep this really brief. I know this is an unusual nomination to come before you, it being for a lynching site. But we also have the board president here, Rich Watkins, for the Lynching Sites Project of Memphis. We, for the last almost 3 years now, have been working on documenting the site and illustrating the national significance. And we feel very strongly that because of the unusual level of documentation of the lynching and the fact that the site maintains a great deal of integrity, it's relatively unchanged from 1917. We can still clearly see where the road would have gone and the far-reaching effects after the lynching with the silent march in New York and outrage expressed in Boston to Chicago and New York, all across the country. We really feel that this is an extremely significant event, not just in Memphis and Tennessee history, but the United States. And we are optimistic that when we go before the Tennessee Historical Commission next month, that they will feel the same, and that this will be, as far as I know, the first site to be listed specifically for its significance as a lynching site.
I would like to say that I worked for Memphis City Beautiful for many years, and we did a lot of MLK Day events. And maybe 5 or, well, whenever that was dedicated, whatever year that was, we were working with bridge builders and Federal Express and St. Jude and a few places like that for volunteers, and we went out there in that area. And it's pretty touching to read about it, more than just what's on that. That's shocking enough. But when we went out there, it was so emotional we helped clear the area out. So for a few hours, we worked on that site, and it's always stuck with me. And every time I drive down summer there, I always stop and look at that. So to me, it's got a little place in my heart too.
Right, and we're hoping that soon it'll be more accessible, so more people. It's kind of
It is
difficult
tough to get
to.
in.
It is.
Yeah, I mean, we drove back up in there and parked behind that, whoever owns that, you said who owns the commercial space there, and then walked
Right.
back up in the area to see where it was. But it is, the pictures, I mean, it is preserved very well. It's just hard to navigate, or
Right.
was. This has been at least 5 years ago.
It still is. We went just this past spring, but I believe it's in the larger nomination, the Wolf River Conservancy, as they
Yeah, I saw
expand. We're
that.
hoping to have a spur soon. So, and that's our goal, is so more people can go back there and learn more about it, see the space, and it just be more accessible for everyone.
It's, I mean, had y'all heard about that before? It's pretty I mean, it's just such a shocking thing to have happened here. And, in 1917 or whatever, I mean, it was a long time ago. My mother was born in 1917. So, that's a hard thing to think about.
It's right. It's not that far away when you think of
No.
it like that. The people that are still around, and
It wasn't Civil War.
Right.
It was way past that. I don't know if anybody else. It affected me.
I think it's incredible, and I appreciate your efforts to memorialize this,
thank you.
and everyone that's been involved.
Okay. Do we just, on this one, vote?
Yeah, well, we had that on consent, so
All right.
we just wanted to hear the presentation because
Okay,
it is such
yeah.
an important event that happened here, and we appreciate Ms. Lampkin's continued efforts to bring these cases that are here in Memphis and locally. And we wish you luck next week or when is it, the National Register? Next month?
Next month, yes. It's supposed to go before in January.
8th, I think, or something. So, yes.
Now, is that I can't see it, is that a state or a county, the marker? I can't
That
see what's
one-
up at the top. I can't
Rich, do you
remember.
remember, is that a county one?
Okay, because I can't see if that's a state symbol or, it looks more like a county symbol.
It is a
Okay.
county sign, yeah.
There are two. There's another one that was indoors.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And so, Madam Chair, the next case, the last case, was approved on consent, but it is a significant property here and
Right.
significant projects that we would like, we're supporting with a vote to recommend approval to the National Register. And then we have someone here to make a presentation, Ms. Stephanie Wade.
Okay, could you come up? Did we want to have her state her name or not worry about it?
Yes, I think she's getting her presentation
Which one
queued
is
up, and then
Okay.
she can come over and do that.
Stephanie, which one is the presentation that you want? This one?
I just put it in PDF to see.
I always wondered what that building was.
Good afternoon, Commissioners.
Could you state your name?
Yes, my name is Stephanie Wade.
Okay, I don't need to, I swore the other person in, but thank you. Go ahead.
Yes, so thank you for allowing us to be here today and to talk about our historic property at 492 Vance. We have affectionately called the project Griggs Legacy Project. It used to be the site of the former Griggs Business and Practical Arts College. We have a short presentation for you today, just a couple of photos you can see over time what the building looked like and how it's kind of changed over that time frame. And here you can see a picture of its last use back in the 1980s when it was a Masonic lodge, and it has been vacant since then. Next slide, please. A little bit about us at 492 Vance LLC. We are historic renovators with a focus or mission to pay homage to forgotten legacies, of which this project really speaks near and dear to our hearts in bringing about the rich legacy that was the Griggs Business College. Next slide, please. We were able to find out that the building was constructed in 1858. It was the home of the Gregorys. John Minter Gregory built the home. He was a lawyer in the city. He built a home for his family in 1858, of which he actually passed away in that home in 1919, but it stayed within the family until his wife died in the early 1920s. So the property itself stayed within one family for about 50 years, a little over 50 years. And here you're able to see the alterations over time from the Sanborn fire maps is how we've been kind of able to track the development of the property since its construction in 1858. So it started out as a primary residence, and over time it was built into multifamily. They kind of just split up the units for multiple rooms, and lastly, it was a private school, and that's the period for which we're seeking the nomination. Here's a photo of the college from an ad for Melrose High School back in 1947. So you're able to see what the structure looked like when it was the business college. You see the sign, which is actually still out there, and then the front of the building as well. And here we kind of see the chronicle timing of when the college was started. It was actually started in the early 1900s, but they didn't move into the location at 492 Vance until the late 1940s. But you'll see, starting from the left in 1943, there was an ad for the college in the Negro Yearbook. You can see a photo of the founder, Miss Emma Griggs. She founded the school in the early 1900s. And the type of courses they offered, which was really unique because it was a blend of business courses, but also the practical arts. So they taught flower making and law and even religious studies, which I think is awesome. Kind of following along in the timeline, in 1958, they were at the location of 492 Vance, but unfortunately, Emma passed by this time. And Reverend C.A. Gaston was the executive director who decided to move the college to that location. He took over the college and they really expanded their curriculum. They started really reaching out to veterans, offering scholarships to veterans. And just the school flourished during this time. From 1958 to 1964, you'll see they added new courses. And unfortunately, by the 1970s is when they really kind of hit their demise and was partnering more with the one other Black-owned business college at the time, which was Henderson College. You'll see more advertisements around that time of them partnering because of kind of what was going on in the city, and they were losing their enrollment around the early 1970s. Here we put together a timeline to kind of help put the college in context of what was going on, not just in Memphis, but in the country as a whole. So as I previously mentioned, the college or the building was constructed in 1858. And around 1940s, we had the foot home development. There was a lot of urban renewal going on in the area, and when it was first constructed, it was a lot of wealthy families living in the area. because of things such as urban renewal, it began to change. The landscape of the area began to change and allowed individuals such as Emma Griggs and her team to purchase property in that area in 1949. Around that time, you also had the Korean War, which is why they also focused on veterans, the Vietnam War. And in 1968, you had the assassination of MLK and the sanitation strike, which was, right around the corner from 492 Vance. This is what was kind of going on during that time, during the peak time that the college was at 492 Vance. And so around 1970 is when you see that they lose their designation as an accredited business college in the area, and then by 1974, they actually sold the property to the Mason Lodge, who were the last residents during that time. And that's all we have for you. So we thank you for your approval to place the building on the National Register, as we think it is a significant story to Memphis' rich history, of which we hope to reinvigorate and reignite. So thank you.
An interesting building, too. Driven by it many times.
Most have.
Did y'all have any questions? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Is that it?
I don't see the applicant for number one, so we will hold that until the next month. And I think this was a great way to end the year, and the commission hearing about two amazing projects and great
Yeah.
people working on those here in our community. So we appreciate all of y'all's work, and such a great way to end the
It's a
2022.
great feel good.
Yes, absolutely. So
Okay. Then any other announcements?
no, ma'am.
May I have a motion to
Adjourn. I move
Adjourn.
that we adjourn.
second?
Second.
Let's do it.
Merry
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Great job on that.
Oh.